In this video, we'll see how to use the basics drawing tools so you can create different kinds of shapes in different ways. So in this first example, we have 4 buildings. Each 2 buildings are similar, but there are some parts missing, so we'll use the drawing tools to complete the missing parts. Now I'll begin by adding 2 windows missing here. So I'll zoom in by clicking at the same time at the Ctrl and plus keys. So to pan over this artboard, I hold spacebar to use the hand tool, so I can easily move towards the area I want to get to. Now I click on the rectangle tool from the choose pane to select it. While I'm moving around with the rectangle tool, magenta lines appears. We call them the smart guides. So I need to make sure that the smart guides are turned on. To do that, I come up to the menu above and I select View, Smart Guides. In this case, they are already turned on. I press Escape to hide this menu. Now I click and drag, and the smart guides tell me that my rectangle has almost the same size as the others. Then I release the mouse. In the Properties pane to the right, I click to select the fill color, and I select this sky blue color from the swatches color to apply it to the fill of the rectangle I have created. Now I'll draw the second rectangle using another way. To deselect this shape, I come up to the menu above and I click on Select, Deselect. Then I come here and I click once. A panel is opened. It gives me the possibility to draw a rectangle by specifying the width and height values. For this, it took by default the size of the rectangle I have created, so I let these values and I press OK. And as you see, a rectangle has been created similar to the previous. Now I'll draw 2 circles here. So I select this ellipse tool from the choose panel and I come here. So I start drawing from the middle. I press and drag while holding the Alt key, so it becomes a circle. Now I must change the fill color from my circle. So in the Properties pane to the right, I click on the fill color and I select this green color to fill it with. Now I'll draw the other 3. So I come to the middle of the circle and I click once. This panel appears having the width and height values similar to the previous circle. Then I press OK. I select the selection tool and I drag this circle to put it into its position. Now I'll add a trunk like this to this tree. So I select the line segment tool and I position the pointer here and I click and drag while holding Shift key, so it will be a straight line. Now I add a color to its stroke, so I click on the stroke icon and I select the brown color from these color swatches and I press Escape. Then I increase the width of the trunk so it becomes like that. I come down here to the quick actions and I click on the arrange button. Then I select send to back. Now I'm done with this tree. So I come up to the menu above and I click on select, deselect to deselect it. Now I'm going to draw a straight line down here. So with the line segment tool still selected, I click in the position the line should start from. This panel appears with 2 values, the length and the angle of the line. So I set the angle value to 0 degrees and the length value to 320. And I deselect the fill line, so it won't have the current fill color, which is the green color, and I press OK. Now I'll change its stroke color, so I click on the stroke color icon and I choose this color swatch and I press Escape. Then I increase its width. Now I select the selection tool from the choose panel. Then I come up to the menu above and I click on select, deselect. And as you see, I have finished this building. Now I'll move down to the other building using the hand tool by pressing the spacebar and I click and drag. And as you see, there are some missing parts that we'll draw using the other drawing tools, so you can see what I'm going to draw. Now I start by drawing like this circular window, so I select the polar grid tool from the tools panel and I come over to the right side and I click and drag until I have the desired size. Now you see inside of this circle 7 radial dividers and 2 concentric dividers. But the window I want to draw has only 4 concentric dividers and no radial dividers. so I'm still holding the mouse button. I tap the down arrow key 2 times to remove all of the concentric dividers, and then I tap the left arrow key until it remains 4 radial dividers. Then I release the mouse. Now I come over to the properties panel to the right, and I click on the fill color, and I select this color swatch to fill it with. And I select the selection tool from the tools panel, and I drag this window to this place. Now I resize this window until it becomes more like the other. Then I select both of them, and in the properties panel I click on the vertically aligned center button. Now I'll create the missing rectangle window over here. So I select the rectangular grid tool from the tools panel on the right, and I come here to start drawing the rectangular window. To do that, I click and drag until the smart guide appears to tell me the window I'm drawing has almost the same size as the others. While still holding the mouse button, I click on the up arrow key to increase the number of the horizontal dividers, and I click on the right arrow key to add a vertical divider. Then I release the mouse button. Now I come over to the properties panel to the right, and I click on the fill icon. Then I select this color from the color swatches, and I press escape. After that, I click on this up arrow to increase the border's width. Now to add the other rectangle window, I will use another method. So I click once, and the panel is opened. The default size got the sizes of the previous rectangle I have created, and as you see all of the other options: the horizontal dividers, the vertical divider, and the reference point locator, which determine the point from which the grid is drawn. So I list all the options as they are, and I click on OK. After that, I come over to the properties panel, and I click on the fill color, and I select this color swatch. Then to deselect this shape, I come up to the menu above, and I click on select, deselect. Now I'm going to make the dividers for the windows I have created more thinner. To do that, I come over to the tools panel to the left, and I click on the direct selection tool to select it, and I come over to this window. So with the shift key pressed, I select the horizontal and vertical lines. I release the shift key, and I come over to the properties panel, and I decrease the stroke width. Now I'll do the same to the other window. So I click on an empty area to deselect this shape. And now I'm going to add a window similar to this window over down here. So I select the rectangular grid tool from the tools panel, and I come down, and I start drawing on top of this window. So to do that, I click on the top left corner, and I drag toward the bottom right corner, and I press the down arrow key to remove one horizontal divider while I'm still pressing the mouse button. Then I release the mouse. Now I come over to the tools panel, and I click on the direct selection tool to select it. Then I return to the window I have created, and I select the horizontal divider. I click away to deselect the rest of the rectangle. I drag down the selected line like that. Then I select the selection tool, and I come back to the window I have created to move it. So I click on it to select it. Then I click and drag to the right. Now I select the direct selection tool, and I select the vertical divider. Then I press the delete key to remove it. Now I select this rectangle, and I fill it with the sky blue color from the color swatches, and I select the rectangle tool, and I draw this rectangle. Then I select the eyedropper tool from the tools panel, and I take a sample from this color, so the selected rectangle is filled with the same color. Now I select the selection tool, and I click away to deselect this shape. I'm going to resize the small rectangle, so I click on it to select it. Then I click and drag the left side to get it a little bit smaller, and I click on the left arrow key to move it to the left. Now I'll zoom in by clicking at the same time at the Ctrl and plus keys. I click on this rectangle to select it, and I press Shift key, and I select the outside rectangle, and I come over to the align options and I select horizontal line center. Now there is a shape missing over here, so I'm going to add it. To do that, I select the rectangle tool and I press and drag. Then I select the eyedropper tool and I click on this red color to fill it with. Now I need the down corner to be rounded like the other shapes. So I select the direct selection tool from the tools panel and I click on this rectangle to select it. Then I select the left down corner and I drag this handle until it becomes like that. Then I'll do the same to the other corner. Now I'll use the rounded rectangle tool to add the other missing shape. So I come down here and I click and drag until I get this shape, and I use the eyedropper tool to fill it with the red color. Now I come up and I select the direct selection tool from the tools panel and I come back to this shape. I click on this handle and I drag it away so it's removed, and I drag the other and drop it away. Now I come up and I select the selection tool and I return to this shape to resize it. So I click and drag this handle until it gets the same size like the other, and I use the eyedropper tool to change its color to the white color. Now to see the entire artboard, I come up to the menu above and I select view, fit artboard in window. Now what remains to be done is to add a roof to this building just like the other. So to zoom in, I press and hold Ctrl K and I tap plus K many times. Now I'm going to draw on top of the existing roof, so the new roof will have the same size and shape. I click and drag using the hand tool and I zoom in to get closer. Now to create the same shape, I select the rectangular tool and I come to this place, and when the horizontal and vertical guides appears, I click and drag towards the right bottom corner. And now I release the mouse. Now I come over to the tools panel and I select the direct selection tool. I click and drag the top right corner towards the left until it fits the shape in the backward. Now I'll do the same thing to the left side. So I click and drag the top left handle towards the right and I rectify until it have the same size. Then I release the mouse. Now I select the selection tool. To access the hand tool, I press and hold the space bar and I click and drag. Now I'll move this roof to the other building. So I click and drag. I press Ctrl K and minus K to zoom out. And I keep dragging it horizontally until it gets its place. The smart guides allows me to know if this shape is aligned to this part of this building. So I release the mouse button. Now to fill it with this brown color, I select the eyedropper tool from the tools panel and I click on this shape to pick its color to give it the other roof. Now I select the selection tool from the tools panel and I click in a blank area to deselect this shape. And to see all the content of the artboard, I come up to the menu above and I select view, fit artboard in window. And at last, we'll create a shape similar to this front door roof. To do that, I'll use the polygon tool. So I select it from the tools panel. I zoom in by clicking at the same time at the Ctrl and plus keys. And I use the hand tool to get down by holding the spacebar pressed and dragging towards the bottom. Now I bring the cursor to the top of this shape and I press and drag until it becomes this size. Now you can see the handle existing between the top right handle and the middle right handle. It allows you to add or remove sides from a polygon. So when I put the cursor on top of it, plus and minus signs appears beside the cursor. Now I click and drag up until I get a triangle. If you drag down, you will increase the number of the polygon's sides. Now I select the selection tool from the tools panel and I move this triangle by clicking on this handle in the middle, and I keep resizing this triangle by dragging the handle of the bounding box until it becomes the same size as the other. Now I'll move it to the other building by dragging this middle point and I put it here in its position. Now I'll fill it with a brown color just like the other roof. So I select the eyedropper tool from the tools panel and I click on this shape to pick its color. So the other shape is filled with this color. Now I select the selection tool from the tools panel. So to deselect the shape, I click on select, deselect, and to see the entire artboard, I select view, fit artboard in window. And as you see, I finished this artwork using the basics drawing tools. So you learned how to create different types of shapes using these tools. Now in this poster, we'll see how to use other artistic drawing tools. So I start by selecting the spiral tool and I come down here and I click and drag until I am happy with its size and direction and I release the mouse. I come over to the properties panel and I click on the fill icon. Then I select this color from the swatches color to fill the snail I have created with. I'll set also its straw color. So I'll choose this color from the swatches color and I press escape to hide this panel. Now I'll add another snail using another method. So I click here, this panel is open. I can set all the properties given specific values. So I'll change its radius value to 15 and I let the other options as they are and I press OK. Then I fill it with the same color as the other snail. Now we'll see how to use the arc tool. So I select the arc tool from the tools panel and I zoom in by clicking Ctrl and plus K many times and I press and hold the spacebar to use the hand tool. So I press and drag towards this palm. Now to add a leaf to this palm, I click and drag until it becomes this size and I let go the mouse. Now I come over to the properties panel and I click on the stroke icon and I select none. Then I click on the fill icon and I select this green color from the swatches color or this green color. I select the selection tool from the tools panel and I come over to the shape I have created, and when this rotation arrows appears, I click and rotate. Then I drag it a little down, so it's good now. To deselect it, I click on select, deselect. Now I'll add a sun to this poster. So I select the flare tool from the tools panel. I come here and I click and drag. Then to deselect the shape, I click on select, deselect. Now to see the entire poster, I choose view, fit artboard in window. The sun is a little bit small, so I select the selection tool from the tools panel and I come over to the sun and I click on it to select it. So I drag this handle to extend the sun. Then I move it to this place. Now I choose select, deselect. It's better like that. Now I select the star tool. I click on Ctrl and plus K many times to zoom in and I use the hand tool to move down. Now I click on the center of the star and I drag. While I'm dragging, I click the up arrow key to increase the number of the star points and I rotate. Now I click on the fill color and I choose this orange color to fill it with, or this orange color. Then I select the direct selection tool and I click on one of these handles and I drag until the star's corners becomes like that. Now to deselect this shape, I choose select, deselect. And to see all of the content, I choose view, fit all in window. Now that you learned how to use most of the drawing tools, you can do some practice in your own design.